Before we start, this is a story, dramatized and illustrative. It's for education and entertainment, not financial advice. For your own money, talk to a licensed advisor. You have $214,000 and nobody knows. Sit with that for a second, the way you do at 7:12 in the dark, the number on the screen, the silence around it, and not one person in your life who could guess it's there. Not your landlord, who rounds the rent up a little every renewal, certain you'll grumble and pay it slow, the way he's decided broke people do. Not the clients who angle their eyes to check your background on video calls. One of them does the math mid-sentence, and you watch it cross his face, that quiet appraisal, the rate he was about to quote you dropping by the second. Not your mother, who still asks if you've thought about something with benefits. Not Marcus. And Marcus you've known since the first month you both started this. Same year you both started. Same first client. Same empty account. Same nothing. The exact same starting line. No daylight between you. Marcus moved back in with his parents last month. You have a little over 200 grand and a cracked phone you never replaced. 3 things in this room you could find in the dark without the light. The spiderweb crack across the corner of the phone, catching the 712 glow. The dented hatchback 2 floors down, parked between 2 newer cars like an apology it never made. The same 3 groceries on the counter from last night. Remember them. They're the only things in this story that don't change. There were 2 of you on that starting line. 2 doors, 1 Tuesday. 7 years on, one of you would call the other at 31, asking how he stayed standing. You already know which one called. What you don't know yet is what it cost the one who didn't. The decision didn't cost anything that Tuesday, not $1. It would cost something later, just not money. Here's the part you can't see yet. A wall this good has a flaw a wall shouldn't. It can't tell a threat from someone who loves you. You won't feel that bill for years, but it starts the night you build the wall. This is what 9 years of one decision looks like. The decision wasn't how to make money. It was who you'd let believe you didn't have any. It started on a Tuesday in March in a 400-square-foot studio with an envelope and a phone that was already cracked. You just sent the biggest invoice of your life. $6,200, 8 weeks of work. The money lands 4 days later, and for one night, you feel rich. You buy the good coffee instead of the store brand. $4.80. It feels like a door opening. And then you sit with it, and you learn how a freelancer's money actually behaves. It doesn't come in like a paycheck, even expected, a line on the 1st and the 15th. It comes in like rain in a dry country. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Then a flood that's gone before the ground can drink it. The lump feels like wealth. It isn't. It's 8 weeks of nothing, paid in a single afternoon, wearing a costume. So you do the boring thing. You open a second account and you move most of it somewhere you're not allowed to touch, before it can start to feel like yours. Not because you have a plan with a name, because 8 weeks in you already noticed the thing nobody warns you about. The money arrives in a lump, and then nothing arrives for a while, and the nothing is what kills people. It takes 90 seconds, no ceremony, no one to tell. $4,500 walks out of the account that feels like yours and into the one that's supposed to feel like someone else's. And the strange part, you don't feel poorer. You feel lighter, like you set down something you were never meant to carry in your hands. This is the part worth slowing down for. You didn't decide to get rich that night. You decided to look like you weren't. Those turn out to be very different decisions, and almost nobody makes the second one on purpose. Because there are two kinds of broke, and that night you learn the difference. One is a number, an empty account, a real shortage, a fear with teeth. The other is a costume, a smaller life you wear on purpose while the number underneath quietly grows. One is a problem, the other is a tool. That night you picked up the tool and you wouldn't set it down for 9 years. And the transfer never becomes a story. It never feels like winning. The next invoice clears, and you do it again, and the one after that. By December, you'd done it again and again. $14,000 you'd taught yourself not to feel. The habit is the character, not the windfall. You'd decided to be the kind who never celebrates, who just moves the money and looks away. The phone lights up at 7:12. The crack's still there. It still works. Marcus had the same 8 weeks, maybe a better client. He's standing next to a car that costs $540 a month, and there's an app on his phone that turns the payment into a little game, a progress bar, a streak, confetti the first month he pays on time. He shows it to you like it's a savings account. It pays for itself, he says, when clients see you pull up in it. He signs page 2. The interest rate is on page 1. Nobody ever reads page 1. And here's his first tell, the one you only understand years later. He doesn't look twice at the price of the car. He looks twice at the price of your coffee. $4.80 for a coffee, he says, almost impressed. Living large. The man with the leased BMW counting your $4.80. You file it. He says, you should upgrade. Look the part. You say, maybe. You mean no. You drive home in the hatchback with the windows down because the AC takes a minute. A week later, you do something you never tell anyone. You go to the same dealership. You sit in the same chair Marcus sat in, just to hear the number out loud, just to know what you're saying no to. $540 a month, the salesman says. A little less if you put more down. You nod, and you do the other math, the one he can't see. $540 against a calendar with no invoice on it next month, or maybe the one after. You stand up, you thank him, and you watch his face decide in real time that you couldn't afford it, that you came in to dream and left because the number scared you. You let him think exactly that. You walk out past cars you could buy outright to the dented hatchback that starts on the second try. And there it is, for the first time, a specific muscle, somewhere behind your face, holding back a smile. The phone lights up at 7:12. The crack's still there. It still works. By year 2, Marcus has a desk at the nice co-working space. $350 a month for the credibility, for running into the right people. You work from the corner of your studio. The light's bad until noon. On client calls, you angle the laptop so they can't see the bed 4 feet behind you. You watch them do the math on you. The too small apartment, the phone you keep face down so the crack doesn't show. They're deciding whether someone who works from here is good or just cheap. And here's what they can't see. The apartment is small because you're feeding an account they'll never know exists. They've sorted you already. Struggling, probably desperate, probably cheap. Good. Because looking broke isn't modesty. It's a filter. The clients who write you off over a cracked phone were going to be the ones who haggled you down anyway. The ones who don't care what your background looks like are the ones who pay. You're not hiding the money. You're using how it makes people behave. Then a call comes in that proves it. Her name is Priya. She's building something, and she needs someone who can build the part she can't. She never once looks past your shoulder. She doesn't ask where you work or what you drive. She asks what you're trying to make and how you think and whether you can start in 2 weeks. When you say your rate, the full rate, the one you don't discount, she says, "That's fine," before you've finished bracing for the haggle. The whole call you keep waiting for the appraisal that never comes. The people who don't need to size you up are the people who can afford not to. The same week, the mirror image. A prospect with a watch he wants you to notice opens with a number that's half of yours. "We're a small team," he says, smiling. "Figured you could use the work." He's pity pricing you, and he's certain the guy with the cracked phone will be grateful. You say no, calmly. No speech, no flinch. Just, "That doesn't work for me." You watch him recalibrate in real time. Stunned, the broke guy said no. That's the muscle again, the one from the dealership lot. And you feed it. You say it's picking up. You let them think what they're going to think. That muscle again, the one behind your face, that holds back a smile when someone pities you, and you've decided not to correct them. Marcus traded the shared desk for a private glass office he doesn't need and photographed it for a post. New studio, big things coming. Someone at the bar says it again. Marcus is killing it. You've seen the office. It's mostly empty. The desk faces the glass, so people walking past can see him working, looking like the work is its own kind of job, and it's a job that doesn't pay. By the end of year 2, the account had a little over $33,000 in it. Nobody who met you that year would have guessed 3. You don't look at it for excitement. You look at it the way you'd check that a door is still locked. The phone lights up at 7:12. The crack's still there. It still works. Year 3. Your mom asks, the way she asks every visit, whether you've thought about something with benefits. A cousin with a normal job asks what you actually do, and you watch yourself shrink it. Just some freelance stuff. It's going okay. The cousin nods like that settles something and files you where everyone files you. He tells you to hang in there. He makes in 3 years what's sitting in your pocket right now. You say thanks. You mean it. He's being kind. The kindness is just aimed at a problem you don't have. On the way out, an aunt catches you by the coats. She watched you shrink the answer, and she does the kindest, cruel thing in the family playbook. She folds a 20 into your palm, low, where the room can't see. "For gas, sweetheart, don't argue." $20 from a woman who counts hers. You have $58,000 in an account she'll never hear about, and you take it because handing it back would tell her something true, and the truth would embarrass her in her own kitchen. It's the first time the secret doesn't feel like armor. It feels like a small theft. $20 of somebody's tenderness spent on a problem you invented. That's the part nobody tells you about the secret. It doesn't only hide the good stuff from your enemies. It hides it from the people who love you too. And you start to notice you can't tell the difference anymore between protecting yourself and just disappearing. Lena doesn't do the appraisal. That's the first thing you notice. She asks what you're building, not what you're driving. The first real date, you steer her somewhere cheap the way you steer everyone. She reads the menu for about 4 seconds and orders the second cheapest thing too, easily. No flicker, no little speech about being careful. And you can't tell. You genuinely can't tell whether she's being kind to a man she thinks is short this month, or whether she just likes the noodles. That's what you did to yourself. You made it impossible to know if she's being careful with your wallet or careful with your heart because you handed her the same evidence either way. For months, you let her assume what everyone assumes. You pick the cheap places, "I'm being careful right now" stands in for the truth, because I have more saved than people who look 10 times more successful than me sounds insane on a third date. And there's a night it almost comes out. Her head on your shoulder, the cracked phone dark on the table between you, and the sentence is half built in your mouth. "There's something you should know about me." You get 3 words in and you swallow it, because somewhere in year 3 the math flipped on you. The truth had gotten heavier than the lie, and the lie was free. The longer you carry it, the more it'll cost to set down, and you, of all people, should have seen that bill coming. Marcus, the same months. There's a watch now. You notice it because he makes sure you notice it. A small turn of the wrist mid-call, the way you'd show someone a medal. He bought it the way he buys everything that year. 4 installments he doesn't file under debt because each one is just the price of a dinner. The confirmation screen calls it freedom. There's an apartment too, a 1-bedroom he doesn't need in the building with the lobby. Then a trip, a photo from somewhere with a pool captioned about working from anywhere. None of it is alarming on its own. That's the thing about it. It's never alarming on its own. The phone lights up at 7:12. The crack's still there. It still works. For 4 years, looking broke had only ever cost you small things. A smile held back. An aunt's 20. A dinner you let someone else cover. Then the 5th winter came to collect, and you found out what the account had been for the whole time. The work dries up, not dramatically. 2 clients pause. One ghosts $4,800 that ages on the screen while you rewrite the same polite follow-up. And here's the part the calm hides. In a dry stretch, it isn't the hagglers who go quiet. It's the good ones. Priya, the client who never once scanned your background, who asked what you were building and paid full rate without blinking. Priya freezes her budget till spring. "You'll be the first call," she writes, and you believe her, and it doesn't put $1 in the account this month. The clients you filtered for are the only ones whose silence you actually feel. The wrong people were never the ones holding your year up, and nothing happens. That's the entire point of the boring account. The dry stretch lands like weather, not like a crisis. You don't take the panicked half-price job because you don't need to breathe. You did your breathing 4 years ago in the dark, 1 transfer at a time. For 3 months, the second account pays the rent and buys the same 3 groceries while the main one sits near empty. There's a jolt other freelancers describe. 3 in the morning, the ceiling, the math that won't close. You keep waiting for it. It doesn't come. You already had that conversation with yourself years back when the whole secret was $14,000 and a habit you refused to celebrate. By the time the work thinned, the line had climbed past 130,000. Not that you'd ever said that out loud, even to yourself. That winter it bent the wrong way for the first time in 4 years. You watched it draw down toward 108, and then just hold. Not a victory. The only thing 4 years of climbing had bought you so far was the right not to feel this particular month. That turned out to be enormous. A peer who asked you last year how you were holding up forwards a rush job. Vicious deadline, 1/3 of your rate. Figured things are slow for you, too. A year ago, he pitied you. Now he's certain you'll be grateful. You decline it, calmly. Not because you're proud, because you don't need it. And need is the only thing that makes a person say yes to work like that. The account didn't just keep you from drowning, it bought you the right to refuse the wrong work. That's the part nobody sees. The no is the asset. The phone lights up at 7:12. The crack's still there. It still works. Lena's too smart for the math to keep closing. A man this calm about an empty month is either lying about how bad it is or lying about how good it is. She says, "I don't understand you. You act like you're scared of money, but you never actually panic. Which one is it?" You don't answer right away. Not because it's complicated, because nobody's ever gotten close enough to ask the right question. The same winter hits Marcus. He doesn't go quiet. He goes bigger. He trades the BMW up for a Tesla mid-stretch, the payment heavier, the logic unchanged. Look like the work has never been better. A warning email from his biggest client, one word in it he doesn't like. Restructuring. He reads it, laughs, swipes it away. Then he takes the rushed job you turned down. Then another. He's working more than you and keeping less, and from the outside he still looks like the one who made it. He posts a rooftop photo. The caption is about winning. The phone he's holding has 3 payment due badges on it. The phone lights up at 7:12. The crack's still there. It still works. So one night you turn the phone around. The account nobody knew about. $156,000 built in the dark across 5 years while everyone you knew was sure you were drowning. For a second, neither of you says anything. The number just sits on the cracked glass between you, glowing, and you wait for it to mean what you always assumed it would mean. The moment everything gets easier, it doesn't come. Her face doesn't do what you expected. It isn't, wow, it's hurt. She says, "You let me believe you were struggling for 2 years. I felt bad ordering the expensive thing. I almost didn't move in. I thought I'd be a burden." Pause. You were so good at hiding it, you let the person closest to you plan her life around a lie. And then she does the thing you didn't brace for. She starts reading it backward, out loud, every cheap place you steered her toward. The night she covered dinner because she thought you were short that week, and you remember letting her. The "I'm being careful right now" you said so easily it had stopped feeling like a lie. She lays them out one at a time, like receipts pulled from a coat pocket, each one small, none of it alarming on its own. That's the thing about it. It's never alarming on its own. And you understand, finally, that the secret was never free. You'd just been letting the people who loved you cover the bill without telling them what they were paying for. That's the night your mind opens a door you'd kept shut. The dry stretch, a year back. A small transfer from your mother. Just in case, the note said. $140 she did not have to spare, sent because you let her believe you were going under. You never paid it back, because paying it back would have meant explaining. So you let it sit, a loan taken out against her worry in a currency she would never have charged you for. This is the part nobody puts in the brochure about stealth wealth. The filter that keeps the wrong people out doesn't have an off switch. You got so good at letting the world believe the worst that you did it to the one person you wanted to believe the best. The armor works. It just doesn't know who its friends are. And here's the part that keeps you up after she's asleep. You can't prove to someone that you trusted them when the whole machine you built was designed to look like you trusted no one. There's no transfer for that, no second account. The one thing you most wanted to hand her was the one thing the system was built to hide. Your 7-year-old niece draws your car at the lunch, the dented one. She colors the rust in carefully, the way kids color the thing that's most true about something. She isn't being unkind. To her, you're simply the uncle with the broken car. You could buy every car in that parking lot. She drew the rust because the rust is the only part you ever let anyone see. You keep the drawing. You don't throw it away, and you couldn't fully say why. Of every picture anyone ever made of you, the calm one, the careful one, the one who had it all handled, a kid with a brown crayon got the closest to the truth. Somewhere in the same season, the phone buzzes near midnight. Marcus. 2 words. You up? You see it light the crack. You don't answer, not out of cruelty, just that you're too far inside your own reckoning to climb out for anyone tonight. The message sits there across the fracture like a fault line you'll feel move later when it's his turn. Lena doesn't leave. She says one thing you don't forget. The whole point of being safe was that you could stop pretending. So when does that part start? You don't change the number that night. You change who's allowed to see it. The phone lights up at 7:12. The crack's still there. It still works. You're the one who almost didn't. Remember the Tuesday. 7 years back now. 2 doors, one March morning, neither of you knowing yet which one would call the other, asking how. This is the call. Year 7. Marcus's name lights up your cracked phone at a strange hour, and the second you answer, you can hear it. The energy of someone whose life is working is gone. He doesn't open with a story about a deal. He just breathes for a second, and then he tells you. The big retainer. The one client that had quietly underwritten everything. The car, the lobby, the glass office. Every installment got restructured. Not dramatically. His main contact left for another company, and the new one trimmed his scope by half and called it a budget cycle. The income dropped overnight. The costs didn't. That's the part he can't get over, the part he keeps circling on the call, the lease, the payments, the office he never used. They all kept arriving on schedule the same week the work disappeared, like none of them ever heard the news. Money that came in could pause. Money that went out had no idea anything had changed. So you do the math with him, quiet and exact. He's put about $38,000 into cars over 9 years. He hands the last one, the Tesla he'd traded up to, back, and walks away with maybe $4,000 after the fees. 3 cards, $21,800 at 24.6%. The interest eats most of every payment, so the balance barely moves. He's 31. He looks older on the call than he should. Then he says it. How are you so okay? You were always behind me. The car, the place, all of it. How are you the one who's fine? You think about a Tuesday at 24. A second account opened before you could get used to the money. You say, I let everyone think I was broke, including you. It was cheaper that way. And here's the thing you feel right then, in your own chest. The old muscle, the one you built in a bar full of pitying glances, the one that holds back a smile when someone's decided you're the one who's struggling. It twitches. There's a version of tonight where you let it win. You don't. You've already paid what that smile costs. You paid it at a kitchen table 2 years ago with Lena's face not doing what you expected. The savoring is gone. He's quiet a long time. Then, there was a month I ate at my parents' every night to make a car payment. I posted a photo from a rooftop that same week, captioned it about winning. A pause. I spent 9 years making sure nobody could tell I was scared. Every car was supposed to prove I wasn't behind. The line just sits there. I think I was buying a costume one payment at a time. You don't say you saw it coming, though everyone watching you both could see it coming, except the two of you, for opposite reasons. You make him coffee. You help him find the first number to attack, highest interest first. You don't send money tonight, not because you can't, because cash tonight would just buy him a newer, quieter costume. And the only thing actually worth giving him is the chance to see the shape of the old one. You let the silence do the part words would only cheapen. The phone lights up at 7:12. The crack's still there. It still works. It's the morning we started on. 33. $214,000. You still scroll past it like weather. If you laid the 9 years out as a single line, it climbs, and it doesn't always climb. 14,000 the first year, 33.58. Then the winter it bent the wrong way, the one nobody else ever saw. Then the night you turned the phone around and let someone in. 214 this morning. And here's the strange part. You can say the whole shape in one breath now, and it doesn't move you at all. You never bought the car. You never got the lobby. From the outside, almost nothing announces the number. The difference is that now one person knows it, then two. You finally told your mom and watched a worry she'd carried for 9 years just set itself down on the kitchen counter and stop. Look at the room this morning, Lena's mug beside yours, still warm. On the fridge, held by a magnet, a child's drawing, stick figures and a small car with the rust colored in carefully. The most honest portrait anyone ever made of you, and you didn't throw it away. On the phone, face down, the text thread with Marcus. His "Can we talk this week?" Your come over, Saturday. And somewhere across town, your mother, sleeping easy for the first time in 9 years. Every one of them was on the other side of a wall you spent a decade building. The filter finally let them back in, one at a time, by hand. And Lena, she never asked again when the part where you stop pretending was going to start. It just started, quietly, the way everything with you starts. One morning you noticed you'd stopped managing the story of yourself in front of her, and you couldn't say when you'd put it down. That was the part the money could never buy you. You had to hand it over yourself, in person, to people who could still be hurt by you. The wall went up for free. Letting it down cost everything you'd been hiding. Because that's the thing nobody tells you. The secret was a good wall and a bad door. You still never bought the car. The hatchback's still down in the lot, still dented, still starts on the first try. The phone's still cracked. You never replaced it. But the crack isn't the thing you hide behind anymore. It's just the thing you finally stopped hiding. You're not richer this morning than you were yesterday. You've been quietly fine for years. The thing that changed was never the number. Looking broke was the smartest filter you ever built. It kept out the hagglers, the leeches, the people who only show up for the version of you that's already won. It also, for a while, kept out everyone else. The money was never going to throw the party. It just sat there, being safe, while you decided who got to be in the room. The phone lights up at 7:12. The crack's still there. It still works. So does the door now. So here's the only question that was ever actually yours to answer. Not how much you have. Not who you let believe you're broke. What were you keeping it all that quiet for? And who finally gets